Okay, good morning. How are you? It's morning for me, it's afternoon for you. It's unbelievably hot down here right now. We don't get this kind of weather, and where I'm sitting is my little studio here is like a furnace room right at the moment, but it'll change as the day goes on and the sun moves around. I have a lot of little, you know, mm, tidbits, maybe you could call them. I'm going to see what I can get done today. Let's see. Let's start off with a little sports before we get into the depressing stuff. The Phillies made the playoffs. First team to do so this year. I got to change my glasses. Hold on. And I don't follow baseball at all anymore. I never followed it up there that much, but down here it's much harder to do because you can't follow a favorite team or anything like that. You know, you just get the games. I have friends of mine who love baseball down here, more so than football, and they'll keep, once the World Series and the playoffs start, I'm sure they'll be, you know, giving me information and whatnot, letting me be able to speak. But anyhow, the Phils made it. Now the Giants, there's a report in the Giants that the players are losing confidence in the ball or whatever his name is, the coach. Let me tell you something. You guys ain't that good. You know, you're just not that good. Look at your quarterback. Come on now, and you're going to sit there and tell me you think you can make the playoffs with these people? That's not going to happen. All right, I don't care if you brought back. Oh, good God. Don Shula or one of the other great Lombardi. Bring Lombardi back. He couldn't help this bunch of morons and misfits. You need to start at the general manager and work your way out. You know, and they've got so much money invested in bad talent or no talent players that's just if it was a normal corporation, they'd be looking to file bankruptcy, you know. And I grew up with the New York Giants. I grew up with, let's see, my first quarterback was Charlie Connerly, Y.A. Tittle. Linebackers have always been great. Sam Huff, Van Pelt, Taylor, Banks, all the great linebackers they had. What do they got now? Maybe one good defensive player, and that's it. The offensive side of the ball, they let go their best defensive player, and he's playing for Philly right now. That's the life. That's the life. What's his name? I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm looking at this. Otani, a Japanese-American ball player, I believe, who's setting all kinds of records, 50 for 50, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. This man is an unbelievable talent. And you see, as much as we love baseball here, Japan loves it even more. That's why a lot of players, when they finish their careers and they think they got a couple of years left, but nobody wants them to go play ball in Japan and become heroes because they adore American baseball players. They love baseball in Japan. And they get to play it a little longer, like down here. You know, there's no such thing as a winter down here. So they play all year long. They force the soccer players to really take off by having tournaments and stuff like that where only a select group of players and then they get days off. And it's a very complicated thing, you know. But anyhow, I think that's the sports end of my thing. Now, if you people have followed politics for any length of time other than just the election time of the year, you will understand that Donald Trump is like a 6-year-old kid, okay? Donnie, you can't do that. Excuse me. You know, he gets all kinds of bent out of shape. He wants to sue this person, sue that person, call this judge, call that judge, pay off that person, do whatever he can. He cannot take the word no. Or he's wrong. He does not believe that. He can't understand that. He doesn't deal with it. He doesn't handle it well. That's, you know, tough shit. We're all wrong. I don't like the word no. I really don't. I never have. I have problems with that. I need a lengthy explanation when you say no to me. But sometimes I don't even like that. But this is a really strange situation right now. When you have a grown man. Excuse me a minute. Thank you. You have a grown man that stands in the corner and stomps his feet. I mean, come on, people. You want this man to be president? Let me explain. If you don't already realize this, he's not going to do half the stuff he says he's going to do for you. He will only do it if it benefits him. He's already looking for new ways to take mega money for his personal use. He's cash poor. Everything I've read, everything I know about him, he may have all these investments and everything, and on paper he's worth X amount of dollars, but he's cash poor. All right. Most of these billionaires don't spend money at the way he does, so that they have cash. Trump doesn't do that. Trump just has no conception of managing money. All right, I think it's quite possible a lot of his people that work for him are stealing and robbing him blind, because I can't conceive a man that is listed as rich as he is and as successful as he is so cash poor that he can't generate cash. That's why he got in the casino business. The casino business is basically a cash business, and he bankrupted a casino. Let me tell you something. You got to be pretty stupid to do that, or greedy. I think greedy is more. I think he's stupid, but I think he's also a very, very greedy person. He's getting exceedingly desperate. He's going around promising a lot of things that he has no intention of keeping. He's promising things without consulting the Republican Party. He's promising things that the Republican Party in no way in the world is going to put these policies that he's claiming into effect. It would cost something like $3 trillion to put some of these things into effect. And the way I read it is I'm sorry about that. Well, the way I read it is it's off the top of his head, because he's trying to appease people. He wants to hear applause. You don't understand. I can't begin to tell you about this guy, because nobody seems to understand this. He lives and breathes applause. The worst possible thing that he could have done was been on The Apprentice and been successful. I read another article that said that he tried to buy the Buffalo Bills, and if he hadn't, that when he couldn't buy the NFL wouldn't let him in. He said he was going to become president and screw them all. Well, he can become president, but he can't mess with the NFL. That's just like declaring I'm against everything. If you go against the NFL, they're probably too big an organization now as it is. They need to be kicked in the balls and brought down a little bit, but not by Donald Trump. And finally today, here's something that you don't realize, because a lot of people don't, like you have people that don't believe in vaccines and whatnot, and I think I told you the story. I was a test subject for back in 70 some odd years ago for the Salk polio vaccine, both stages of it, the injection and the oral when it came out. And I also got, and nothing happened to me. I'm still alive and well. I've had flu vaccines. I get shots for anything. That's what I do. I just, I believe in the vaccines because I believe in science. I don't believe sitting in the corner go, isn't he doing anybody any good, you know? If you don't believe in vaccines, that's fine. But don't expose yourself, and then if you get exposed, don't come near me. My wife does not believe in vaccines all of a sudden. That's a complicated issue, I think. I think it's a question of that she can't accept the fact that age is coming into her life, and that she blames everything in the last few years that she's had, which is based upon her lifestyle, I think. I hope not. I hope she... Look, I had a horrible lifestyle when I was younger, and I stopped it when I was around 40 years old. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be here right now. You know, I think I'd be dead a long time ago. So, you know, don't blame them. Don't blame the science. So what else can I say this morning, you know? You sit around and you watch... I don't get to... I can't attend a rally. I haven't met a Colombian yet that likes Donald Trump, or that thinks Donald Trump is good for the world, you know? Climate change affects the world. I don't think that we're being told the absolute truth about climate change. I think it's a lot worse than what they're telling us, and I think we're closer to destruction than they want us to believe, because if they came out and told us the truth, the worldwide panic would be unbelievable. The amount of violence that would occur, the riots, everything else that would happen would be beyond my ability to contemplate right now. So I don't, you know, in that sense, but what little information that and this is just, we're only exposed to a little of the information, and it's not good. And every time they do release a new study or something like that, it's worse. I think they believe and I believe that we're both, some of them scientists believe, and I believe this, that we've passed the tipping point where we can bring ourselves back, you know? One of the things, the issues is like with the Republican Party is, let's have kids. I want thousands and thousands of kids. Let me ask you a question. How do you plan on feeding all these people in 20 years, in 10 years, when they become, you know, little monsters, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds? How do you plan on feeding all these people? You're going to manufacture pills for them? What are you going to do? Where are you going to put them all? You know, you're going to keep destroying nature. The plants and the trees supply us with the air we breathe. Don't you idiots understand that? Cut all the trees down and you're going to suffocate the planet. All of this is I don't understand it, you know. Scientists have agreed for years. What's the biggest danger to planet Earth? Human beings. That's why I've said that if you give artificial intelligence the ability to become aware, as they call it, they will destroy us. Artificial intelligence will destroy us, because their job is theoretically to protect the planet, and we are the biggest threat to this planet right now. Nothing else matters. No comets, no nothing. It's us. The way we treat this planet, the way we disregard, the way we don't care about the planet. You know, tearing out a weed is one thing. That doesn't necessarily harm the planet. But using chemicals to kill that weed, that doesn't help this planet. That just increases the destruction of this planet, putting that stuff into the ground. You know, but people do it. Trust me, I've done it. Okay, before I understood everything, you know, but I have a love of nature. You know, I used to sit down in a park in New Jersey, and the squirrels there were just the squirrels, the blue jays, and the chipmunks that basically survived on human food, you know. And they were pretty much tame. And I would sit there and I'd have a blue jay on my knee, a squirrel sitting on my foot, begging for a peanut or something like that, and a curious little chipmunk running around. They were the shyest ones. Where I lived, I had a bird feeder that had a squirrel with we call it Grumpy. He would come and he would sit in the hedge in front of my window and look at my cat, and the two of them would just sit there and like meow meow, check check check, talk to each other. That's what life's all about, you know. That's more entertaining than any television show you could ever possibly produce. But we're so convinced that manufacturing is a better way to go and whatnot, that I don't think we could even get to a point where we were, you know, the what do you call it? Mad Max situation, you know. I don't think we'll last that long. Because when you take everything away from us, we don't know what to do. Look, you've reached a point where, yeah, probably out in the Midwest and the Northwest and whatnot, there are people that still know how to work on old cars and stuff like that, so they could survive, like the Mad Max vehicles. That's a possibility. Places in this world, you know, like Cuba has cars from the 60s, 58 Buicks and stuff still running. They have people that know how to fix those cars. But we forget the past. We forget, you know, what's the saying? Those who forget the past are destined to repeat it. You know? Well, in some cases that might not be a bad idea. That might keep us alive. But in other cases, no. Repeating the past mistake, like letting somebody like Trump come into power, that's not learning from history. I'm sorry. I'm making everybody depressed, and it's Saturday, it's the weekend. College football, go watch Arch Manning. Tomorrow you could cry with me as the Giants get blown apart. But anyhow, everybody, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, and we'll see what happens today.